Greetings and salutations, my artsy friends. How is everyone today? So good, I hope. Who's ready to start making some posies? I sure am. Hey, if you're here, be sure to say hello so I know who I'm talking to. I would love to know. So, we only have an hour. So we need to get right into it. I know we gotta wait for people to pop on, but we need to use our time as wisely as possible. So if you could just pop in and say hello and maybe where you're from, that would be great. That will help our conversation flow. So I asked you to, I'm Ann Corbiere-Scott Designs. If you would follow and like Ann Corbiere-Scott Designs on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, I would greatly appreciate that. And then ask to join my private Facebook group, Let's Get Artsy with Ann Corbiere-Scott. It's where all the cool kids hang. Okay, so I asked everyone to print the Flower Power printable 2 times because we're going to make a big bouquet. But we're going to do it in a tin can. Shut up. How cute is that? Right? So I found this amazing tomato can. And my favorite color is red. And so I really wanted to do something red. And I really like red and yellow together. So that's kind of where I was feeling this bouquet. But I'm also going to be doing it today in pink and yellow, which will be super cute too. So you just do you. You know what I'm saying? You create flowers however you wish. So I'm just gonna start painting. So I'm gonna do hot pink, and yellow. I was going to do this opposite of the one I've already painted, and you know what? I'm doing it the same. Oh well. So it's okay if you overshoot the edges because we're going to be fussy cutting all of these flowers. And then we're going to be manipulating the paper. So all paper is, especially watercolor paper, has a certain cotton content, right? So we want to get that cotton content to work for us. So I'll be showing you some cool ways to do that. I know it looks real sloppy, but I promise it'll all come together. And I like to have highs and lows of color. I just feel like that just really adds to the fun of it all. So you get this idea, right? We're just gonna paint everything. And I sometimes do a couple of coats if I want it to be really, if I want my color nice and saturated. Let's do this one. So I did, as you can see, I did each flower in 3 sizes. And because of that, I can stack them. I'm sure you saw that in the bouquet. So I want to do the 3. I mean, you could do this however you want. I'm going to do 3 of the same color. But you could absolutely do this like pink, yellow, pink, yellow, pink. Or, you know, you could do whatever you... The possibilities are endless. So I'm just filling in with color, and I'm just going to tell you, hey Mary, hello, hello, hello. Hey Linz, hi Sue. So we're just filling in all these flowers with color, right? Sue Potts. Hey, Keels. Hi, Cindy. Hey, Carol. Hey, Laura. Hi, Tina. It's always so fun to have all these artsy friends, isn't it? I love that. Hello, Renate T. Renate. I swear, one day, I promise I will get the pronunciation correct. Hey, Joni. Okay, so I have my pink painted, and I'll give you a little tip about when you're painting with a bright color like that. Wipe your brush off on your paper towel first, get the most of the paint off, and then wash your brush. You'll have less dirty water. Just. Hey, Jackie. Hi, Chris. Right? So now we'll do the same with the big, kind of the round flower. I'm going to do that in yellow. I'm really afraid I'm going to run out of time. So I'm only 6 minutes in. Keels, can you keep track for me, please? It was, and the file is in a post. And Carol, I sent it to Carol this morning because I couldn't get it to go into the guides. So I sent a message to Carol this morning, and she said that she would put it in the guide. So yes, you want to print this printable 2 times. Hey, Ruth. Okay, one more, and then let's do our leaves. And hopefully then our pink should be dry. So again, I'm just gonna tap my brush off on my paper towel. You did find it under files. Okay, so guys, be sure to look in the file section, and Flower Power is in there. Okay. Now let's come and do our leaves. And I like to start with kind of a watery wash and then build my colors. Stephanie, look for it in the file section, and it should be there. It'll get moved to the guides at some point. We're all super busy today, as you can imagine. But it's for sure in the file section. And I don't know if it's under my name or under Flower Power, but it's there. Okay. Rinse my brush. It is on the guide. Oh, cool. Thanks, Tina. Hi, Patricia L. Brooks. How are you? Yes, so I use, thanks, Chris Evans. Wait, Evola. So Jackie, I use a 90-pound watercolor paper. If you go to my website, it's under my Amazon Artsy Arsenal, all of the details, and you can click on the link and it'll take you right there. I am telling you, it's fabulous. It's a Canson watercolor paper. It's 90 pounds, so it'll go right through your printer. I have a laser printer, that it goes through beautifully. And I test the capabilities of my laser printer at every chance I get. Because I'm always experimenting, you know? Something new, something interesting. Okay, now I'm going to paint my centers, and then I'm going to set it aside and bring over the pieces that I've already done. Hey, Joanne, how are you? Oh, Patricia, that's so nice. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here. So you can, you know, here's the thing. You can paint these in any style that fits your vibe, you know? I just love flowers, and I just take every opportunity to paint them, draw them. I wear them in my hair. I have them on my table. I grow them outside. I just love flowers. Okay, so these are painted. So let's set these aside. And then I'm gonna share with you. So now these I've already painted, right? So I am, I want to add a little bit of details to them. So this is what I was thinking. So I have a bunch of pens, of markers. So I just thought that I could add some details. Hi, Kath, how are you? Hi, Sandy. Okay, so I'm just gonna start adding some tone-on-tone details, right? Nothing fancy, just a little something something, just some little visual interest. I just thought this would, this is just a little bit different than the flowers I've already made in the centerpiece that I took pictures of and showed. If you sign up for my newsletter, inside of that, my pal Carmen and I, my collaborator, she and I have come up with all kinds of projects to create with these flowers. So be sure to sign up, because we can't wait to share all the fun that we've thought up. You know, I told Carmen, if you give an artist, if you teach an artist a technique, they will take that and run. They will use it in a million different applications. And isn't that where creativity just feeds off each other, right? When you're hanging like this group, right? We hang with each other and we take something from each person and we learn something, and we, like, I can totally turn that into, I don't know, whatever. I mean, just make sure that you give credit to the artist that you learned it from. But other than that, because you don't want to be accused of stealing, because that would stink. And who wants to be a thief? I don't think anybody. Hey, Dee from Texas, how are you? I have an Aunt Dee, but she lives here in Arizona. Right, so I'm just continuing to add details to all these flower petals. I mean, you could do whatever you wanted, right? You could, I mean, think about all the mark making. In my pop-in paint party, we've created mark making catalogs where we have pages in our art journals just dedicated to mark making, because we use it so often in our creating, right? There we go. And you'll see, like, when it's lighter, when the paint is lighter, then the stripes show up more. When it's darker, they kind of look like a shadow of a stripe. I love that. Hey, Laurel. Where are you watching from? Almost all the way around. Okay. So I finished that one. I kind of know what I want to do on the rounder flowers. Let's see. Well, I just want to start with those. Okay, so I have all these yellows to pick from because I was indecisive this morning. Well, hello from Virginia. Very cool. Okay, so I have all manner of markers here. I have Central New York. Very cool. I have some Tombos. I have Crayola Super Tips. I have, seriously, you name it, I've got it. I think I have some, well, who knows. Anyway, that's looking pretty good. So I'm thinking I want to really play up the shape of this flower that's kind of like a pod, sort of. I think I'm going to just add these stripes that are just a little bit curvy, and they're just really helping form the flower, right? There we go. Hey, Denise. Oh, look at that. Loving it. And these can be as faint or as dark as you want them to be, right? And you know, you can do it as detailed as you want, or as oh, pretty, as simple as you want. Cannon City, Colorado, home of the what? The Royal Gorge. Oh, that's cool. My husband grew up in Colorado, in Broomfield. It's certainly grown up. That whole town has grown so much since he was there, but he played on the state champion football team there. We kind of love sports in this house. Has anybody been watching the NBA finals? So exciting. Okay, there we go. Now we have these leaves. What are we gonna do with them? Well, and I've drawn them all different, right? So they're all, you know, I just think that's like an easy place to do some texture. Oh, I have these twin tones, which are fabulous. Let's see what we get with that. So what if we go stripe, stripe, stripe. This is a little bit light, so we could go in with another darker marker, and that's an idea, right? Or we could just leave it kind of tone on tone like that. I don't know. I haven't figured that part out yet. Hey, Nancy, how are you? So nice to see you. Okay. I think I'm gonna go for a little bit darker. Oh, so see, here's a Marvy. Told you I have every kind of marker you can imagine. I don't deny myself any cuteness. I want all of the, that's still light, isn't it? I want all of the opportunities for cuteness. That's for sure. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so this one, let's mimic that center spine. That's kind of cool. Do that here too. And remember, none of this has to be perfect. It just has to be fun, right? Okay, so now I'm gonna start fussy cutting. So I like to go all the way around. I like to leave a little bit of white so I have that fun contrast. But you know, you do you. That one's a little bit too far out, I think. Now let's do inside. And do you feel how stiff this paper is because of the watercolor? We're gonna make it so pliable. So on your supply list, I said that you needed a mouse pad or fun foam. And I'll show you. Hey Charlene, how are you? I will show you the, I couldn't find a mouse pad. I'm sure there's numerous mouse pads in this house. I couldn't find them. So I took some fun foam and kind of created my own mouse pad, if that makes sense. And I'll show you as soon as I finish these. It's rainy. Oh, I kind of wish we would get some rain here, but alas, it is not the rainy season for Arizona right now. It is the hot season. It was 110 yesterday. Hi, Miranda. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay. So we have lots more cutting to do, but I want to... Oh, I have lots of family in Ontario. Sue. They live in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, and Garden River, the reserve. Okay, so here's what I did. I took 2 pieces, you can see, this is well loved. 2 pieces of fun foam, right? And that's gonna have enough cushion that we're gonna be able to do what we need to do. So I'm gonna take my flower, I'm gonna flip it over, and then we're gonna do this for everything. And you're gonna take a spoon, and you're gonna push, and you're pushing kind of hard because you're pushing right into that fun foam, right? So you want to, South Carolina. Oh, Brenda, don't even worry about it. You can watch the replay. Isn't that the beauty? I love that Carol and Kathy have created this space where we can create these relationships and friendships and okay, so there, do you see how we've broken? This is how you break the fibers, right? They're really tight and we're pushing on them. They're kind of like a massage, how your muscles get relaxed, right? So now we're going to turn it over and we're going to do the same thing. South Africa. One of the girls on my design team is from South Africa. She lives in South Carolina now, Charmaine, but she's from South Africa. I have kind of a lot of followers in South Africa. I know, the replays are amazing, aren't they? For me too, for me too. Okay. Right? So now we've broken the, do you see, like, there's so much more manipulatable, if that's a word, manipulatable. Okay, now I'm going to take my stylus and I'm going to go around the edge. And I like to go right down the center, because then I can really manipulate my petals. I can do it this way. I can do it this way, right? I can do all kinds of different things. But I also like to do this. Go around that center circle. And that's going to give me some really good, a big definition, right? There, you can see it on the back side, right? At this point, I like to snip right to that center. I don't like to do it before I do my embossing all the way around the circle. Oh my gosh, I had Fleetwood Mac just blaring before I popped on here, so it's just playing in my head. We did have all the good bands, didn't we, Deb? Okay, right, so there's one flower. And just know that we can keep manipulating it, right? We can just keep working on it, working on it, working on it. So I just like to cut around the whole edge. And then snip out these little cuts in between each petal. So I was telling you that Carmen and I have at least 2 more projects that we are, we will give you instructions for in the newsletter. So be sure to sign up. I'll show you some of those projects during my class. And then who knows what else we might think up. Hi, Ann. Hey, Sarah. How are you? Where are you watching from, Ann? Okay. There's one. I have one more. Oh my gosh, Shirley, it makes it so easy to just go around the edge and then snip out the centers, or the space between the petals. I was, so funny, I was talking in my pop and paint party this morning about learning how to say no to things. and how, you know how when you come upon something and it's kind of in your consciousness, right? All of a sudden, it's everywhere in your life. So I had just said no to something that I just couldn't dedicate the time to. And I felt really bad about it, and so it took me a long time to say no, and oh gosh, it was just ashamed of myself. Anyway. I had finally just said no. And right as I was sending the email, I was, I like to do this because it really kind of loosens everything up. It makes it a little bit warm, so it's way more manipulatable. Anyway, like, and I almost at the tail end said, well, maybe in the future we can blah, blah. And I thought, no, don't. Just say no. And if it happens that things can work out later on, that's great. But for right now, just leave it at no. Anyway, then I happened upon this Hoda and Jenna post on on YouTube. Don't you love YouTube? And they had a whole storyline about saying no, and that saying no is a loving boundary, and how powerful a loving boundary is. Oh my gosh, that just spoke directly to my heart. It really, really did. Okay, so now let's go around the edge. I like to use the bigger end, but you know, use whatever stylus you have. So I do kind of a U, and then right up the center, then an upside down U, and right up the center. All of this manipulation of the paper is going to make it so pliable, and so it will bend to your whim. Right? There we go. There we go. Now let's come back around, and we're going to go around that center again. Oh golly, everybody take a big drink. Okay. Now let's do that final snip. Okay, now let's bend all of these petals up, right? Like right at that base. Thanks, Keels. Okay, so I bent them this way, but now let's bend them this way. So they're kind of a little bit like a V, right? Right, and now let's smush them back up again. And I just kind of manipulate them with my hand like that. Just work that. I know, and you know what? That was a big part of the conversation, Laurel, was that we absolutely do not need to explain ourselves. We just need to say no. And guess what? The world doesn't fall apart because we said no to something. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to respect you more for respecting your own boundaries, you know? Okay, so like these, I like to have some, you know, if you look at a flower in nature, some of them curl forward, some of them curl backward. So that's what I like to do. I like to curl every now and again, curl one back. There we go. But let's bend these two. Right, there we go. And this one, we need to do this. And then we need to snip. And when you snip like this, it's gonna make it a little bit more delicate. So just kind of be mindful of that. Anyway, that story was so good about learning to say no and respecting your own loving boundaries, right? And to quit saying you're sorry. I was like, seriously, I say I'm sorry way too many times. Like, if I bump into someone at a store, or if they bump into me, I will say I'm sorry. What's up with that? Okay, now let's start to stack. So we have our big base, and then we have this one, and then we have this one, and shut up, look at it. I just have to stop, Tim. I just have to stop. Okay, so I'm going to get some glue here. And then I want to kind of make sure that these petals are a little bit offset from the base. But I like that these are all kind of coming up, and these are down and up, and you know. And then the center, you're gonna do kind of the same, do it a little bit off kilter. There we go, shut up, how cute is that? And then in the very center, I'm gonna take, I have this vintage button and some embroidery floss. Can you believe I'm trying to thread a needle on camera? Crazy. Okay, and I'm gonna double it just because that'll be cuter, right? So we're gonna go in and back up. And we want it to be pretty noticeable, so that double is gonna work out perfectly. There we go. Yeah, I know, Tam, seriously. Can you believe it? As soon as I started it, I thought, what are you doing? Okay, and we're gonna glue that there. Right, stop. Look how cute that is. Right? Okay, so look, there's one. And we can still do our petals, our leaves, and the pod-like flowers. And the leaves, when I put those on, well, let's do the pod flower first. I'll show you how I did that. Just gonna fussy cut that. Okay, set that aside. Bring our mouse pad-ish thing back. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to rub it with my spoon. I'm going to get some really good manipulation. Right, and let's do this again on this side. And then for these, hey Maureen, how are you? Hey Vanessa, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, now I'm going to do that same thing that I did with the center. Putting some pressure on it, but not so much that I poke through the paper, right? And then I'm going to do the same thing on the outer edge. And it doesn't have to be directly on the line, it just has to be around that outer edge. And you'll see what, because that is going to create some really cool kind of a puff, right? It's going to make this part look like it has a big form, and that's what we're kind of shooting for. Okay, so now do you see you can see the form on the back side? So we can start to puff this up a little bit more. Run, 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 run. And I'm thinking if I want to intensify that dimensional look, I can take my yellow pen and I can do a little bit of stippling right down here. And that's going to give me a little bit of depth here, and let's do it here too. Right? And that's gonna, oh my gosh, it's gonna be so beautiful. And I just like to kind of enhance those lines, right? So just right here by the center of the flower and then kind of down those lines. And it doesn't have to be a lot. Hi, Debbie Miller. How are you, my friend? But just kind of go down those lines, enhance those lines. And then let's do that outside, because that's going to really, how am I doing on time, Keels? 42 minutes. Yikes. Okay, I'm not going to be able to finish that, but I can show you this. Okay, so let's take the bamboo skewer. I'll show you that part for sure. So I like to flip my flower over, right? Then I'm going to take my glue. I'm going to give myself a little bead of glue like that. Then I'm going to take my bamboo skewer and just stick it here, and then you'll see that this is lower, right? So then I like to take something a little with a little height, and there we go. Do you see what I'm saying? That's going to make it even Steven. So we'll let that sit for just a minute to dry, and then I'll show you with this. I'm going to take the flowers out and I'm going to show you how I did these. Okay, so in the very bottom of my can, I cut 2 circles of just corrugated cardboard, right? And this is so you have something to stick your bamboo skewers into, something that's going to hold it just a little bit, right? So like I said, I just cut them, and they're wonky, believe me, believe me. Just stick them into the bottom of the can, right? And then I like to start to arrange my flowers. Oh, I will say, when I did the leaves, I put some glue on them, and then I wrapped them around. As you can see, I wrapped them around the bamboo skewer. But here I did, again, I used that stylus to give myself this little bit more dimension, right? So just think about, any white glue. Like I would use tacky glue. I'm using art glitter glue. That's what's on my desk. But I would think tacky glue for sure. Any strong white glue. That's what I would use. Anyway, I wrap them around so then it kind of has something to kind of grab onto. And I don't know, it just kind of gives it a kind of a cool vibe. Well, I miss you too, Miss Deb. I miss you too. So but do you see how, let's see if you can see that the dimension here, right, of this, there you can kind of see the dimension by just using that stylus to impress upon the circle of the center of the flower and then the circumference of the entire pod flower. That is, stop it, so cool. Then once I have them all kind of, I want to get through all of the details, and then we can go back to fiddling with flowers. But anyway, so then once I have them all done and they're dry, I start to kind of arrange them in my tin can. And while there, do you see I just stuck it in that into that corrugated cardboard, and then and I kind of try to do them like at an angle like that, because then you're gonna get to see everybody. Do you know what I'm saying? Kind of at V's, right? And then I try to do like some super high and some not so high, and you know, all different, right? Like that. Then once I kind of have everybody in their place, I just have a piece of tissue paper that I kind of jammed, I just crumpled up and kind of jammed in there, and that just holds everybody together, holds everybody in their place. And because it's crinkly tissue paper, you can manipulate it, right? You can create kind of a V right there, right? And kind of wrap that crinkly tissue paper around that bamboo skewer. Do you know what I'm saying? Right? There. Does that make sense to everybody? And that's how we're going to get everybody all in one tin can. And stop it, how cute is that? I don't know what I'm going to use for my hot pink and yellow. I haven't figured that out yet. I mean, I was thinking I could just take a tin can and just remove all of the, I could remove the label, and then I could, maybe I could paint it hot pink, or I could, I don't know, I could just leave it silver. That might be cool too, right? So I think I want to, I hope everybody's got it. And oh, this is a brighter blue or brighter yellow. That's kind of showing up more. But do you see how just this little bit of stippling, don't think I haven't, Carol. Don't think I haven't gone to the grocery store and like, oh, I went to Whole Foods just for a certain can of tomatoes, because of the can. The tomatoes ended up being delicious, but seriously, it was just for the can. It makes you start to look in your pantry totally differently. So now I'm going to do the outside. So do you see, so the first set, the red and yellow set, I didn't do anything fancy to these. Oh, you could totally napkinize the can. You absolutely could. I just painted these because I wanted to show you lots of versions of what you could do, right? So these are just painted with watercolors. But these are painted with watercolors, and then we've added some kind of some stippling and line work to just enhance the form. And this is going to take a little bit more time, but I think it'll pay off. You'll be so happy. And remember, we're not doing these to be quick, right? We're doing these for fun. right? And to relax. And I mean, that's what art's all about, right? Is relaxing and just the joy of creating, I think. So I like to do just kind of random dots around the edge. I know, and think about how cute so everybody who does one, take a picture and post it on here so I would love to see it on everybody's kitchen table. You know, that's where mine was before I brought it down here this morning. It was right in the center of my kitchen table. I loved it. And I'm kind of digging the two different colors of yellow in my stippling. There, can you see what a difference that makes? How that's just creating this dimension and form. It's just enhancing what we just did, right? It's enhancing this. I mean, and think about, you could certainly, where's my mouse pad? Absolutely, you can absolutely do them as a banner. And be sure to get on my newsletter, because we have Karen and I have directions for a really cool banner with some really amazing fun techniques in there with stuff that you already have. So be sure to do that. By taking all of these free classes, I'm sure that you've had to give your email address, and that then we can all send you our newsletters, and you can, oh, look at that, it's really coming out good. Oh, look at that. Doesn't that just make you excited when something like that happens, right? So I think it was this one that I was doing so why did we do two? Because my bouquet originally had 2 sets of flowers. I wanted a full bouquet. That's why. And I've lost some flowers along the way. Here we go. I think there's one more around here. So, yes, here. But anyway, so we had a big full bouquet, right? And look at how pretty that is. Oh, so pretty. I can hardly wait to see what color combinations you come up with, and what tin cans you use, and you know, I can't wait to see them on your kitchen tables. I can't wait. Yeah, absolutely. Ask anything. Does anybody else have any other questions? Please, ask away. Ask away. I know 1 hour is a short period of time to try and say everything I want to say. But just know that even when I sign off, if you have a question, put it in the comments and I will come back and pop in and check in and answer any questions I can and engage in conversation. No, I want this to be the beginning of new artsy friendships, you know? Oh, I'm loving it. The marker is really, the stippling is really adding the dimension that I was kind of wanting. I'm only going to show the other projects in the instructions are only going to be in the newsletter. Stop! Look at the difference. Look at the difference just between that and that. Oh, absolutely. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Look at how cute it is. You guys, so many ideas, so many ideas. I'm sure your noggins are swirling with ideas too. But that's part of it, right? That's part of the whole process, is being inspired by everybody's works, you know? Everybody take a drink. Holy smokes, I've been blabbing a lot. And like I said, I like to do the same manipulation of the leaves as I did of the flower petals. I'm gonna rub that with my spoon. So your spoon, your stylus, and your faux mouse pad. I mean, anybody can pick this stuff up, this fun foam up at Michael's or Joann's for a song. And it doesn't have to be, you know, anything in particular. Like, it doesn't have to be a square or a rectangle. I mean, you know, after holidays, the fun foam that's shaped like Easter eggs goes on sale, right? So you can absolutely there. Stop. Don't you love it? Rub that, rub that, rub that. Rub that, rub that, rub that. Oh, Keels, you just said it was 5 minutes, and when was that? Okay, so, and I just like to manipulate it with my hand. Like, the warmth of your hands is really going to help you break down those fibers and get things moving and moving and grooving in a kind of in a more natural way. Now I'm going to share with you how so I just like to wrap, I hope you can see that, wrap the end of my leaf around there, around the dowel. Then it's like it has something to kind of grip to. And once you wrap it, you can move your leaf up if you want, right? Or you can leave it down. But that's kind of pretty, isn't it? I'm kind of digging that. And so once that's wrapped, I'm going to come around with our glue and lay a bead of glue right there. I think you can see that. And I'm going to tuck that right there, right around. Ta-da! Oh, thank you so much, Laura. That just means the world. It means the world to me. Thank you so much. So I hope everybody had a great time. Please like my video. If you get a chance, click the like button. And like I said, please follow and like and share. Follow Ann Corbiere-Scott Designs on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And then thanks, Patricia. You're all over it, sister. So follow Ann Corbiere-Scott Designs on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and then ask to join our private Facebook group. I try to put a little positive artsy affirmation in there, or something newsy and meaningful. People post their projects there. It's the best. It's the best. If someone's going through a hard time, we're there to support each other. It's just the best community. I just adore everyone. So anyway, I think that is all my time. I can't go over it. There's somebody after me. So I adore you all. I will continue to work on my project and take a picture later. I hope that you will do the same. I don't know what kind of can I'm going to use. I gotta think about that. Anyway, everybody have an amazing, tremendous Thursday. Thanks so much, everybody. I adore you all. I'll see you in all the other classes. Bye, everybody.